because even though Wigan are shit, Lee are shitter.
Yeah, I honestly think 24 is a big margin for this Wigan team because we struggle to score 24 points, let alone beat someone by 24 points. But I am reasonably confident that Wigan will win this one. I'm going to go Wigan by 18, though. I think it'll be similar to our game against Wakefield the other week. That we'll just have too much for them when we are in attacking positions because they're not as good as some of the other teams that stop us from scoring. Okay, Sky Games, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Leeds fans, remember this. It's a Sunday game, but it's at night. Leeds are hosting Warrington. Leeds are on TV again and Warrington are on TV again. But what I think Warrington obviously got turned over by Leeds a couple of weeks ago, and they were not great in that game. Leeds have had two of their strongest performances recently. The second half against Hull FC, I thought they were exceptional, like we've just talked about, and that Warrington game as well. They were very good. I'm going to go Leeds. I'm going to go Leeds by 4.
Okay. They have looked, I hate to say it, they have looked quite good, and now I still don't think they've got a fully fit team, have they? But they're sort of getting there.
The forward pack's more fit, isn't it? The middle forwards seem to all be there now, which is it helps set a platform for Luke Gale, who needs it.
Yeah, he does need it. But I'm still going to go Warrington because I don't really like Leeds, and also Warrington's had the extra day, haven't they? In terms of rest.
That is true. That is true.
You know, I think Leeds are backing up. They played last night, didn't they? And they're playing against Sunday. So what's that? That's 3 days. So I'm going to go Warrington by 4.
Yeah, and that's the understatement of the year as well. That you don't really like Leeds. 3 games on Monday night. We'll start with your game, Rob. 7:45 p.m. kickoff down the lane. Castleford hosting Huddersfield. Huddersfield, who've had patchy games on and off, but seem to be building something Castleford haven't played since Wembley. Do you think that's going to be a factor?
Well, I'm not. The squads aren't out yet. I think the squads will be out tomorrow, won't they?
Yeah.
For this one, according to so Cass supposedly had 8. Well, Cass and Saints both had 8 positive COVID tests from Wembley, and if you have tested positive, you've got to be stood down for 17 days, I believe, which means that potentially we've still got 8 players missing. So if this game does go ahead, I'm not sure what the squad's going to be. So thinking we might have 8 players out, I'm going to go Cass by 12.
Although if your positive tests were when the cup final, oh no, it's only 2 weeks, isn't it? Yeah, still, yeah. It'll be 17 days on Sunday, so say they got positive tests the next day, it'd be...
Well, no, it'd be 17 days on, I think, Tuesday
you're right, yeah.
if they were positive the day after Wembley. Yeah. But, I mean, Cass is positive. They didn't start announcing them until sort of the Monday or the Tuesday, so potentially it could be out for Leeds away on Friday as well. But it'll be interesting to see who's in the squad and who isn't. I'm not sure how much of that Wembley squad was fully fit, and how many we sort of patched up to, played a one-off game, and same as the semi. But Huddersfield are hit and miss, but I can't go against Cass, so I'm going to go Cass by 12.
Fair enough. I think a lot of games we've seen this year where people have come off a COVID break, Hull FC being the most recent example, but Warrington as well recently too. They've not looked at full throttle at all at the sides. So because of that, I think it'll take Cass a week to get up and running, and I think Huddersfield will pinch this one. I think Huddersfield by 8. Sky game.
Sorry, Huddersfield, have they not had a week off for COVID, or were they due to play Saints?
Huddersfield were they played Hull, didn't they? Beat Hull quite convincingly actually in the end, and then missed the game because of That's a good question. I'm going to get up last week's rundown and tell you the answer.
No, it's not important.
They were meant to play St Helens, so yeah, it was Saints that called that game off. Monday, 7:45 p.m. The Sky game is St Helens. This is their first game coming back from COVID. They're away at Hull FC, who've had two weeks back from their COVID break. I wonder on this one. I find it hard to tip for Hull FC when they don't have Jake Connor. I think the suspensions won't come in time for this game, which means they'll still have Reynolds. And whilst he is a grub, he does help that team score more tries than they score without him. I do think so. It does depend on how well they turn around from the short layoff that they've got from the last game against Leeds. Having said that, though, Saints are in the same boat as Cass for me, so I think I've got to go with a team that's got a bit of running in the legs rather than the team that's coming back from not training for 2 weeks. So I'm going to go Hull FC by a Mark Sneyd drop goal.
I agree. I think Hull FC is going to win.
Is that just to keep someone happy?
No. I just think I don't know how many players Saints. I don't know how many Saints are going to still have due to COVID. They haven't played for 2 weeks, so I'm going to go FC by 6.
Fair enough. Then the final game, Monday, 7:45 p.m. Catalans travel to Hull Kingston Rovers, who haven't played in a million years, it feels like. Although the only game they did play, I think, was against Catalans, wasn't it, last Saturday? I just, you can't pick against the team at the top of the table who are winning every week, even if they've been having some stumbles towards their wins in recent weeks. I still think Catalans. I'm going to go Catalans by 10.
I'm going to go Rovers by 4. I thought they were dead unlucky last week. Lost it right at the end. The Catalans they've had a few games as well, and then they've got the extra the travel as well, which this season they seem to have got over that travel hoodoo. But Rovers they've been surprisingly good, haven't they, this season? I think a lot of people thought they'd be bottom 2 or bottom 3. And they've surprised everybody, so keep Tom happy. I'm going to go Rovers by 4.
Good stuff, excellent. Just a reminder to everyone that our championship game of the week is of course, Featherstone versus Toulouse, Sunday at 3 p.m. And as we suggested might be the case on Monday night, the League One game of the week has changed because the Workington Barrow game is off. So it's London Scholars versus Coventry Bears, Saturday 3:30 p.m. is our League One game of the week. Make sure you get in your fan reviews on the Google form for all of those games and any other rugby league that you watch aside from that, and we'll talk about it next week. We're now going to do a quicker than normal wrap up. No quiz, sorry guys.
Just on the predictions.
Yeah,
we've got 3 games on Monday night. 2 of them's clashing with a Sky game. Cass and Huddersfield haven't played last week, so when we're talking about crowd sizes and stuff like that, I don't understand why Cass and Huddersfield couldn't have played on the Sunday
afternoon,
both, Sunday afternoon, which is traditional rugby league time, especially for Castleford, and then given both teams an extra day because we're backing up again next week, aren't we?
And one of the most sensible things you've ever said.
Well, it does happen someday. A broken clock is right twice a day, Mark.
No, you know what? It's a fair shout, and probably last year that sort of manoeuvrability and adaptability would have happened, but when tickets are being sold and stuff like that, maybe they're more reticent to move fixtures, even if that move might sell more tickets because they don't want to piss people who bought tickets.
It's bank holiday Monday as well, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But I know it's bank holiday, but
it's not bank holiday.
Is it not bank holiday on Monday?
No.
No, is it not?
No, it's bank holiday at the end of August.
Oh, Christ. I'm glad you said that, otherwise my post wouldn't have been going out Monday.
There you go, guys. If you've made your order as a result of this, you might actually receive it now.
If you've made your order, it'll be going out tomorrow morning.
Good stuff. Right, let's... after that very clever point, we'll move into the wrap-up. Rightio. Wrap up time for 312, one of our shorter episodes. I hope you've enjoyed it all the same with our extra special guest. And what I'll do, Rob, is I'll give you the floor to make your recommendations.
My recommendation is get your ass to a rugby league game, because we've had 18 months of not being able to go. We've moaned and whinged and bitched about it, and then I'm watching it on the TV and seeing empty seats, although Hull FC did okay last night, to be fair to them. So if you can go, get your ass there this weekend.
Yeah, fair enough. I certainly had a tinge of guilt on Wednesday when it came kick-off time, even though I'd kind of made my peace with not going earlier in the week, and then definitely Wembley for me was watching Wembley was tough because it was such a great occasion, such a great game, but part of me was also thinking 40,000 people have not had my second jab yet. I'll stay back from that one. I do think there's an element of caution from some people, whereas there's other people who want to just act like it's 2019 again, which is totally fine as well for those people who are comfortable doing that. It's a real tight balance at the moment. I've actually been involved with some chats with the market manager at Wigan this week. They were talking about how many season tickets didn't get used at last week's game and what can they do to make people feel more confident. So they've kind of put in some extra, not necessarily extra measures that they weren't doing before, but made people more aware of them to try and reassure the people who haven't gone because they're a bit worried. And inevitably you get a few people commenting on posts like that saying stuff like, we're just fed up of it now, so why are you trying to put more restrictions in? When they're not putting any restrictions in, they're just trying to make the people who aren't going feel safer, and comments like that don't fucking help. But it's a tough balancing act, isn't it? But you're right, the more people that are double vaccinated, and when you go into games, it's not like they're packed out anyway, so it's so and clubs are trying to do stuff to make people feel more confident as well, which I think is important.
I think when I've watched the CAS highlights back, the tries and what have you, it really looks like there's no social distancing, and certainly in the Weldon Road end. But when you're actually stood in it, there is. There's plenty of space between. The only people you stand with is in your bubble.
Yeah.
Getting in the turnstiles, they might be open this week, but the turnstiles aren't open, so it's 2 meters away and show your pass or your ticket or to scan it. It does feel safe, and Wembley was the same because it was a test event, and even though on the telly the bits that did look full, there were still gaps between people. There was still one row on, one row off, and what have you. I just think in terms of overall, and especially the Wigan game, just out of interest, how many people didn't take up the season ticket?
The figure I've heard was almost 2,000.
So that's quite a lot in a 5,500 crowd, isn't it?
The tickets sold number was over 7,500, but the actual tickets used figure was 5,500.
I just think we've got out of the habit of we've got into the habit of not going, and I'm not sure what's going to get people back in. I don't expect many Huddersfield fans to be there on Monday, and that's not a dig at Huddersfield as a club, because say when we're at home support, they do travel fairly well, certainly to CAS because it's a short journey. But realistically, if you're a Huddersfield fan, CAS have cancelled the last 2 games due to COVID. Would you buy a ticket in advance?
No.
Knowing what a ball ache it is to get your money back, and there's certainly things that
and it's not going to get rearranged now as well. That's the other thing, isn't it? There's not when I bought my Huddersfield tickets and that game got cancelled, I knew it'd get rearranged because I knew both sides weren't in the cup final. But now, when are they going to get rearranged for? They're just not.
Well, probably when we want to play the World Cup.
But you're right. I felt safer at the stadiums than I was expecting to, and more comfortable at the stadiums than I was expecting to, building up. I also think some fans had got into this habit of watching it on our league, and now that you can't, that might make people sit up and realise, shit, this is how I watch my team again, the way I used